Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren, and recently I've seen a few videos and a few forum posts talking a little bit about Legion. The topic of this video is going to be on Legion, just my thoughts on it. The video I watched recently was by Heal vs Babyface, which makes a decent point. It says that Legion is doing slightly better than Warlord's General. Now it's not really his words, it mostly is Blizzard's words on their, I believe it is an annual progress in terms of monetary gain of sorts. I'm not a business student or anything, I'm just an IT graduate, but I wanted to, with this type of comment and this type of yes, Legion's doing slightly better than Warlord's General quote, talk a little bit about World of Warcraft from my own personal experiences and discuss my own thoughts, my own opinions on the subject matter. This video isn't really made to be inflammatory or cause any debacle, so if you take offense to it, I am sorry. It's just my own opinions on the game since I spent so much time on it. Now let's talk about this whole quote of Legion is doing slightly better than Warlord's General. That is a fact, and this is something Blizzard has done themselves. That's the only thing I can point to as a fact, is it's Blizzard that are the ones that pointed this information out. Blizzard said that Legion is doing slightly better than the previous expansion. Let's also take a look at the fact is Warlords General was kind of a complete flop. A lot of players would tell you that Warlords General wasn't all that great. It wasn't the best expansion by far. Like, while a lot of people still enjoyed the expansion, maybe they enjoyed the PvE aspects of it because I heard the last raid was not that bad. I didn't enjoy the PvP as much. I had live streaming that I was doing at the time. My channel was doing a lot of growth. Combat rogues were pushing great numbers, and it was a lot of fun to do in regards to PvP, well, mostly with other friends and other people. Plus, rogues were in such a good spot, you could top the beach in numbers if you really tried. So, it was exciting. Legion is doing slightly better, but I guess the question is, can it bring WoW back to its full glory? And I guess a lot of people would say the answer is no, since it's only doing slightly better than Warlord's General. Of course, it could be that the game might have just been the fact that it's, what, around 12 years that it's been around, 13 years that it's been around. So it's just an older game, and some people come and some people go. I do want to talk about Legion a little bit more detail, about some of my thoughts on it, and I actually have it broken down right here, my own thoughts on what I think about it. First of all, how is the leveling? Because that's the first thing that you get to do in Legion. I thought the leveling was alright. I felt that there was plenty of zones to pick from, and it does become old after a while. Let's say you're leveling other ults. Nothing really bad, but nothing really truly, I guess, amazing because of the replayability is kind of low. I really do like the variants in zones to pick from. In terms of whether you want to level in Azuna, you want to go to Val'sharah, you maybe want to go into High Mountain and finish it off in Stormheim. Or the other way around, you want to start in Stormheim, finish off in High Mountain, get into Val'sharah somewhere in between and Azuna. Or you want to just start in High Mountain altogether. You might enjoy the Tauren landscape. So I thought that was awesome. And the fact that you could do scaling allowed me to actually pair up with some friends who are leveling in certain areas and just start leveling with them, no matter at what levels we were, so the experience was a little bit more fun. And it just makes the whole leveling experience better because somebody who is almost max level could do the same content as somebody who just began, and both of them could be helping each other level through for a little bit of the time that they have together. I thought that was done really well, and I thought for Legion it was great because you got to make your own decisions of where you want to level. You weren't restricted to a zone, which zones you liked and which ones you didn't. How are Legion dailies? And Legion, this is something they did different with dailies. They did it with World Quests, and I thought they did a great job of it. Pick your quests that you want to do, and you get the rewards depending on which quest you pick. You also get rewarded if you do 4 quests for an emissary quest. So, the emissary quest is basically, if you do 4 world quests in this zone, you can come to our emissary and get an emissary chest, which rewards you with loot, rewards you with AP, can reward you with random mats if you're into professions, just literally random items. And of course, I got a lot of my legendaries from there, so it's always exciting and there's plenty of incentive to do it. You can go ham with your world quest. If you want to do it, you can actually do every single world quest in the map, collect every little bit of AP, every little bit of gold, or the whole resources so you can do upgrades or whatever you might want to do with them. There you can go completely berserk and do every single one of those dailies. Or you can just do bare bones, maybe just get your emissary quests out of the way, get a few of the AP ones, and you're good to go. The game doesn't really force you to do world quests, but it rewards you if you do a lot more. So I thought it was awesome, because I like it when games reward you when you put extra effort. What about the end game content? I thought there's variety is key, and this is something they did well with Legion as well. You have Mythic Plus dungeons, which allow for 5-man groups to perform almost raid-like encounters in the dungeons you all know and love, but with different effects. It's almost like playing Halo with different skulls, is the best way to put it. If you ever played Halo at different difficulties and you turn on different skulls, some of these skulls would just make some enemies, let's say, throw more grenades, or grunts would just explode if you shoot them in the head, or some enemies are a lot more difficult, or even the Iron Man style. If you die, you have to reset the whole game from the very beginning of the level. A lot of stuff like that, and it makes a lot of variety and a lot more challenge to the Mythic Plus, allowing people to actually get on different comps and really try hard at just 5-man dungeons, which are a lot easier to get than a 10-man raid. I thought that raids are pretty good. I played every single raid so far, and I cannot wait until Tomb of Sargeras is out, even though the wait is a little bit, I would say a little bit too long, with not a lot of side content. I'll talk about it in a bit. But I thought the raids were done really well. They are interesting and they follow a cool story, and I feel like the mechanics are interesting. And they get a mythic level, I guess, level to it, and mythic level difficulty, which makes it even more challenging and has a 20-man restriction, and that kind of stuff is awesome because it gives a lot of like the higher rating guilds a lot more opportunity to do a lot more content at a higher difficulty for better rewards. And even PvP, I'm a big fan of PvP. I think that I guess my own opinion is going to differ from everyone else, but I personally think they did an alright job with PvP. It could have been Warlords General where there was not really a lot to do, but in PvP it feels like there's a lot more incentive. You have an incentive for every single BG because it feeds back into AP, and Mythic Plus and PvP, you get an incentive to climb higher rating because you can get a better gear for PvP, which doesn't really match for PvP as much, but you can use this gear anywhere else. There's, I feel like, enough incentive, and I think PvP was done well enough. That's probably the best way I'll put it. It's enough for me to be content, but I know everybody will have their own opinion on it, which is why I'm a little bit more skittish on this one. I felt like the content was been pretty great compared to Warlords General. In Warlords General, we had selfie camera of patch 6.1. I feel like that should be everything to say. I don't think I should say anything more. In Legion, we actually get pretty good content updates. We get content updates with every major patch, so like 7.1, 7.2. But we also get content with the XX5 updates. So 7.15 had content, and 7.25 is going to have content as well. Some are small, some are large, some are game-changing, like changing how rogues are going to be playing in 7.25. This is going to be major, and a lot of rogue players will get new ways of playing their spec, whether it be Outlaw, Subtlety, or Assass. So I felt like that was awesome. And in 7.15, we had a whole Mythic Plus raid/dungeon caravan added, and I thought that was really cool. We actually have content. They actually are adding the game. Might not implement them properly, or at least how players would wish, kind of like how we have the wait with Tomb of Sargeras, but still there's content. I felt like with the new content that we haven't seen before, we have challenges, the Mage Tower quest, and I feel like that challenge is awesome. I know that there's issues, and I've talked about it before. I personally would think that it might be better if you didn't have to have a gear restriction. But I do understand what Blizzard is trying to go with it. It's all about playing the game, earning the gear, getting better. And as you get better at the game, you get better at the class, you get good at PvE, really start to understand your class so you can fully progress. Then it's much easier for you to do that kind of challenge, which is actually challenging. For some classes it's more challenging than others, I do understand that. But still, doing it as my Outlaw Rogue was really satisfying. It was a challenge I needed. I hated it. I hate Agatha. I hope she burns in hell. And I somewhat hate my little poker blades, but at the same time, I love it. It is the Dark Souls experience I wanted. I feel like the world bosses are pretty cool. They're not quite Mr. Pandaria, where you actually had to learn the fights, which I thought Mr. Pandaria was pretty cool. Be it the amazing Undasta, which so many people wiped on, or even the Shaw of 23 gold. That guy was pretty cool too, until everybody could get to the point where you just one-shot him and done. But at the time, you actually need to learn the fights. But they're still pretty sweet. World bosses, I think, are pretty cool and nice addition to the game. Just more off, actually drop rewards for catch-ups and whatnot. I felt like World Quest, as new content, gives you a lot of variety of things to do. And it's usually never the same thing. So what you're doing tomorrow or the next day or the next day might be even slightly different, if not drastically different. Because there's just a lot more things to do. And I feel like AP is a never-ending fight. It's a never-ending grind. Artifact power. You can try hard at it or go completely casual. You can just get the bare bones AP that you need, or you can fully build up your weapon until you have Concordance of Legion Fall fully filled out. I'm not sure what's it called for other classes, but for rogues it's Concordance of Legion Fall. And but you all will end up in the same location with regards to your AP eventually. That is the main point. So I feel like that content, that's pretty cool. I actually think it's interesting because we haven't had something to farm and really work towards in a while in World of Warcraft. Now, I talked for about 10 minutes of what I thought of the game, and I know it took me a little bit of time, but there's a lot that Legion brought. And I feel like we should take the time to understand 10 minutes worth of discussion of what Legion brought us. Now I'm going to talk about the drawbacks and then a little bit of what I think is currently going on exactly, with people saying maybe, oh, I might not be enjoying Legion, or I could see why it's doing only slightly better than Warlords, or basically the naysaying. Okay, let's talk about the drawbacks, and I want to be more constructive on this one. I will say this, and this is true, don't get me wrong, Legion isn't as old friendly as the other expansions have been. While the catch up with gear and AP is implemented, it is still not as easy. Just to get my Hunter ult to get to the point where I can be viable in PvP situations, it took me a little bit of time to get and wait through my research and get the world quest done, and then do the beginning quest for Legion, and then make sure, or I guess patch 7.2, the Broken Shore, and then finish out that quest line, and then unlock all my other traits, and then do that quest in order to get my challenge mode beginner quest line for my marksman and survival, complete those, come back, let the 5 of Kirin Tor, use the magic spells to empower my weapon. Now I can unlock it. It took a little bit of time and kind of felt like time gaining, but it took a while to catch up. And I don't really see that many people playing alts really try-harding their alts. No, I don't see that many people playing alts so they can do a raid on this alt, full mythic plus clear in a week, and then another alt, full mythic plus clear in a week, and another alt. A lot of people have alts, but the alts are never as good as the main, especially with 7.2 launching and the AP grind getting back online, and maybe once we reach finally an end to the research nodes that we need, then people will be able to go back and get the alts caught up to speed with all the AP, and then the gearing, and then the PvP alts will come in, PvE alts will come in and whatnot. Alt friendly, not quite. AP can feel like a grind, and there's not a lot I can really say about that. It does feel like a grind sometimes, because every day you farm in AP, and then you do world quest to farm AP, you do daily dungeon for AP, you get in a mythic plus and hope for the AP in your chests and whatnot. The PvP can seem watered down because they don't have the gear affecting you as much, but AP still affects you in terms of how you perform. Some classes are doing well, some classes are not doing well, but that's balancing. You only have honor talents instead of plethora of abilities and a bunch of things you could do. Now you're only limited to a few things that you can do with your class. So a lot of people can feel that this is a drawback. And a lot of people have stated, and I'm not sure if this is really a drawback, same old content that people get sick of, as I guess the best way to summarize it. You still have the same AP, even though it's, let's say you have the same dailies, more dailies added in 7.2 compared to 7.1. I guess people want a more different type of content. It's just another raid, and we have to wait through some storyline, just like we did with Nighthold, the same old content. The PvP is doing the same thing, you just get the same gear and same old content. So it might just be like the monotony of the game, or how the community sometimes feels on it. But here are my thoughts on what I think is really going on, and this is just my thoughts from here on out, completely. I feel like too many demographics are trying to be appeased by World of Warcraft Legion. And I guess the easiest way to put the demographics, although I don't really like to segregate them in this simplistic, I guess, labels, we have the casual players and we have the hardcore players. Now, this isn't a casual, oh, bad casual, or hardcore, try hard, bad hardcore. It's just the way I would mark them, I guess, just for the sake of the video. You have the hardcore that have the AP grind, and it can be perfect for them, but casuals don't really enjoy the grind, and there's no middle ground to really get there on AP. For the PvP honor system, for hardcore players, it might seem watered down, but it tries to be casual friendly, but it still doesn't really appeal to casuals, because casuals are complaining that they are having a hard time finding players and their classes suck and this is OP. But the hardcore players are having fun getting with their friends and getting with other team comps, and have no problem finding people to play with, because those guys get to dwell into the the small intricacies that PvP does bring, although it's not too intricate, but still, whatever intricacies are there, they will dig deep and find it. So it doesn't fully appeal everybody. And it's a weird middle ground that where there's even hardcore players and casual players that are unhappy with it. And there's some casuals that are alright and some hardcore that are okay, but you know, I guess the loudest voices end up being kind of the people in the middle that are not happy in one way or another. I feel like the PvE is fine. That's about all I can say that's fine. Challenge Mage Tower is difficult, and many people are very much surprised by that. Gear is required, Legendary is a part of the gearing process, although I feel like not necessary, but the buffs definitely do make some parts of the challenges much easier. And casual players really want this challenge weapon, and really want challenge skin, but I've seen a lot of people too hastily blame the game for being too gear dependent or not really as much skill oriented by, you know, capping people to, let's say, certain item level or something just for the challenge alone. While geared raiders and PvE enthusiasts that try to get the best amount of gear, the best trinkets, farm all the mythic pluses that they need, get enough AP just to get to the point where they could do this, are getting the weapons and loving the challenge that it offers to their spec. Even if they have to run it 100+ times, they'll keep running at it until they get it right. And I feel like challenge mode, PvP, AP grind are kind of good examples where I feel like Blizzard is trying to find middle ground, but can't appease either the casual players or the hardcore, or in some cases both players altogether. And I think Blizzard is trying to appeal to more than one crowd, making the game and some of the aspects of the game just feel not casual friendly at all, or maybe even too friendly to casuals, so the other side always gets upset. I think we just have two different people playing the game. Even though more Mythic Plus dungeons come out, more PvP content came out in cases of brawls and some of the adjustments for classes. Classes get changes in the X.X.5 patches, in small patches in between. There's a lot more PvE content that's coming out on a regular. More world content comes out in terms of world quests, bosses and such. And more farming for AP comes out. There'll still be people, no matter what, that will say that there is either isn't enough content or all this current content is trash. But because in most cases it doesn't really suit their needs, what they want out of a game. And this is something I've heard many times, be it on the forums, be it in game, be it in YouTube videos of people trying to bash World of Warcraft or make even a good argument to try to see if they can, you know, find a way to fix the game. It's just a game that they're trying to appeal to too many people, I feel. And because it is not truly defined, everyone has a chance to take offense at it. And it's too hard for some people, and for other people it's too baby easy, or whatever the offense might be. I think Blizzard needs to stick to their guns when it comes to World of Warcraft, patches, and Legion. Make content that is difficult and keep it difficult, no excuses. Or make content that's truly casual and just make it super casual with the idea that, hey, this is for casuals. This is made for people that just want to kind of hang out for a bit. When you try to mix it and you get two different results, you basically just can't please everybody. But you will either get the pros, the guys that will be good scrub, enjoying the challenges, or you'll have the mobs and pops that work all day and just want to enjoy an hour or two of the game they love without feeling that there's less progression, just because they couldn't spend the whole day farming AP. Maybe it's just small changes, but maybe AP would be one of those important ones that I personally would do if I were to make changes to the game. Like, for example, getting your baseline skills for all your traits would be easy, but farming the big one, the Concordance of Legionfall one, would be the unending amount of time that you would have to take. So then people would feel like they caught up to the weapon, but then those that want to continue getting a higher chance for that Concordance, for that agility or strength or whatever, to proc higher for the Mythic Plus and the Mythic Raids, I feel like it would be a lot easier for people to feel like they're not really missing too much out, because then everybody will have it, just the people that farm more will have a higher proc chance. And then that might be one of those things that could fix it. Or maybe even having side content with the main story. I feel like that could work well. Like right now we're waiting for the unveiling of a 11-week wait for Tomb of Sargeras, but what if it came with a side raid with 3 small bosses in it? Kind of like TOV. And it'll keep people busy while they're waiting for the content to come out. So then, I know we have Cathedral Dungeon, and there's a Mythic Plus for it, but I don't really see in trade chat or anything of people just really running the hell out of that fight, running the hell out of the dungeon, farming it, or anything particular. It's just kind of there, but it just didn't feel like it made as much of a splash when it comes to the patch. Might have been something that caused it. I think they did well with Legion, and this continues on my personal thoughts. Legion is a game that currently suits me. Some parts of getting your class hole stuff could be done a little bit faster, no time gating, especially for the ults. I feel like AP could be a lot easier to grind with your baseline, just for the basic aspects of your weapon. But for the most part, it offers everything I'm looking out of the game. And this is what I'm looking out of a game right now. I PvP with my Outlaw Rogue with the random team comps and sit around 2k MMR casually, climbing as high as 2200 with Outlaw last season, the spec I really try hard at with literally everything, PvE or PvP. And I like to play off-brand classes for just casual PvP battlegrounds, without issues of gear, so I can easily try them out and have fun without feeling backlogged on gear alone, just maybe a little bit of AP farming from time to time. AP catch up to a 10% stam and 10% damage alone allows me to catch up to most players in the current meta of the game, especially for battlegrounds, so I don't feel like I'm too far behind. The dailies feel satisfying and I still want to do them since I can choose which ones I want and which ones I don't. So it gives me a lot more freedom to choose what I want out of the game. Legendaries make me want to run battlegrounds, skirmishes, daily dungeons, mythic plus, and raids just for a chance to see if I get them. So I get to check out all of the content. I feel like it's enough of an incentive, especially if it's a class you really like and really want to try hard at. And I feel Legion is a game, it fits me. It fits for what I want. But I'm somebody who likes to put a decent amount of time into my games. But that's really just my own opinion, and that's all this video is about, just my opinion on the matter. Anyway, I'd like to hear what you guys think. I just thought I should comment on this for a bit, since I feel like it's a question that might circle around a little bit. Again, this video wasn't really inflammatory, just my own thoughts on the subject. But what are your personal thoughts on a subject? Not everybody gets to have a channel of 40,000 subs and put their voice out there, makes us heard. So I'd like to have you guys give yourself a chance in the comments below. Just voice it, have discussions, talk about it, because I like to see what you guys think. Okay? Alrighty, I'll see you guys in the next video.